A lot of good Andy Reid conversation here to kick off the hour. Sal Paolantonio, ESPN's national NFL reporter, he's going to be spending the week with the Chiefs as they get ready for Super Bowl 54. And he's kind enough to join us now on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline with more perspective on Andy's Chiefs and the NFL and some Eagles stuff we'll mix in as we do a Sal Pal Friday, getting you ready for Super Bowl 54. Happy New Year, Sal.
Special edition of Sal Pal Friday. A special Super Bowl. I believe this would be a special Super Bowl edition of Sal Pal Friday on the Mike Gill Show.
That's what we'll go with, a special Super Bowl edition of a Sal Pal Friday right here. So you will be spending the week with Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Is that correct?
Yes.
I think it's very interesting because obviously Andy's getting a lot of play here in Philly and his relationship here and all that kind of stuff. Do you find it to be one of the more interesting things looking back that Andy is still such a polarizing guy for such a guy who doesn't say all that much and is so well liked in the industry?
Polarizing is the perfect word for it, Mike. You hit the nail right on the head. Because there are very few people that have no opinion about Andy Reid. They either are Andy Reid followers and acolytes, or they have no use for him. There's no in between. He definitely polarizes people, especially in the Philadelphia fan base, and for good reason. The highs were very high, not the highest of the highs. We're not talking about Doug Peterson highs, and the lowest were the lows. Very, very difficult for people to sort of wrap their head around. It's a complex relationship, and it's going to be like that for forever and ever. I mean, he brought him to the Super Bowl, but couldn't win it. Brought him to a lot of big games, but couldn't win them. And he watches his protege go back to Philly and win a Super Bowl in the town where he was supposed to win it.
Yeah,
and it takes him 7 years to get to the championship game. Can't beat Tom Brady in overtime and an epic failure last year. And, all the trials and tribulations of his family and personal life, it has been a very complex relationship between Eagles fans. Trades Donovan McNabb, loses his job. His sons are in and out of court. One of them overdoses in the dorm at Eagles training camp up in Lehigh, raising all kinds of questions like the judge raised in Montgomery Court about who was exactly in charge in the Reid household. So there are a lot of complex feelings about Andy Reid.
I'm curious, Sal. You're going to be with the Chiefs for the week leading up to the Super Bowl and spending time with them. What's on your mind is what you want to find out about this team, kind of behind the scenes, or when you talk to them?
Jeff, that's a really good question. And when I start out covering a Super Bowl team, especially a team like this where I know the head coach and know the PR staff and know some of the other ideas, but I don't let that get in the way of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't have a preconceived idea about what I'm going to cover or not cover. So I have, obviously, to talk about Reid and discover exactly what kind of journey he's on this week, how he may change things. It's been 16 years since he went to a Super Bowl. But he also has an advisor named Bob Lamont who has taken many, many coaches to the Super Bowl. So they have a blueprint on how to do it, what to do, what not to do. And Steve Spagnuolo on his staff won a Super Bowl with the Giants. And yet he's got young players like Patrick Mahomes who are barely 24 years old. So there's a lot of intricate dynamics to a team like this. I think if I were to answer the question simply, I would say, how has Reid changed to allow him to get back to the Super Bowl? How has his coaching mannerisms changed? What has he allowed his players to do that's different? How will he coach this team in the Super Bowl? And Jeff, this is not going to be an easy Super Bowl for the Chiefs. I don't believe it will be at all. I think Kyle Shanahan is the smartest young coach. That includes Sean McVay. I think he's the smartest young coach in the NFL who hasn't won a Super Bowl.
Sal, it's interesting you mention all that because you've been around Andy even in the years that he's left Philly, obviously, And a lot of the people, the criticism, the timeouts and the time management and this and that, he's still widely regarded as one of the best in the game. But have you seen him grow and evolve during his time in Kansas City? Did he take stuff that he didn't do well in Philly and bring it there? Or do you think the same criticisms of him still kind of linger and that need to be vanished by winning this Super Bowl?
I think it's a very complicated answer to that question, and it's a great one, Mike. And I'll say top three things that come to mind. One, it's pretty clear that he has given free rein to Patrick Mahomes II. Mahomes saved him in the last two games. The Chiefs are about to get waxed by Houston, and we're losing to Tennessee. And I watched Mahomes come back against Tennessee single-handedly. Mahomes saved Andy Reid and that defensive coaching staff in both those football games. So he has no choice but to let Patrick Mahomes II be a lot more freer with offense. And he is. Two, the decision to fire Bob Sutton last year was a decision that was made with a lot of pushing from the front office and the ownership, specifically Clark Hunt. I talked to Clark Hunt after the AFC Championship game, and I said to him, how much did you have to push Andy Reid to fire Bob Sutton and hire Steve Spagnuolo? He said, I didn't have to push him at all. He said, I didn't have to push him very much. Well, that suggests that he did exactly do that he did, in fact, push him a little bit to get rid of Sutton and make that change. And his willingness to do that, I think, says a lot about his evolution. But it's kind of come late, right? I mean, is he in the AFC? Here's an interesting question that was asked to Patrick Mahomes II on Sunday night in the press room in Kansas City. I was there in the second row listening. One of the reporters asked him a question that I should have asked him. It was the smartest question asked all night. Do you think you would have won the AFC? Andy Reid would have won the AFC Championship game without you?
That was a good
and Mahomes,
question.
Yes, it's a great question. Mahomes.
It's hard to put the kid on the spot like that, though.
Oh yeah, no question, Michael. No question. But if you go back and try to find the transcript or the audio of it, you'll see he hesitates a little bit, and then, of course, is deferential to his coach. But the mere fact that the question was put to him like that suggests that's what people think. I don't, and I'll answer the question for him. I don't think Andy Reid wins that game. I don't think he beats Houston. I mean, come on, look at it. Do you think he really beats you? Wins either one of those games without Patrick Mahomes II? Honestly.
He ain't overcoming a 24-point deficit with Alex Smith. I know that.
Or with Donovan McNabb.
Or with Donovan McNabb. That's true. I'm glad you're talking about Mahomes, Sal, because I wanted to ask you specifically, again, you're going to spend some time with the Chiefs and get some stuff on Patrick, but in just your career, I mean, you've had a very distinguished journalism career, and I imagine you've covered guys who have come from some kind of athletic bloodlines beyond just Patrick Mahomes. So do you feel like his growing up in a household and a family, his father being a major league pitcher who played in New York and other places, Texas and kind of fishbowl environments, has helped shape Patrick and kind of prepare him for the moments that he's had the last 2 years, as opposed to someone who may not have grown up in the same kind of environment?
I believe it's true, yes, Jeff. 100%. And that's something I definitely will explore. Now, Jeff, when you think about it, that can be a detriment too. It depends on the parents, right?
Right.
I mean, some parents let their kids get away with murder because they're the coach or the superstar. But it really is clear. And I know Doug Peterson well and his wife, Jeannie, and you can see the way Doug is raising his kids, that Doug is raising them the right way, to be super deferential and respectful of authority, and to be good teammates and good people first. And it's pretty clear, 100%, that's the way Mahomes was raised, and that's why he's such a natural-born leader.
Yeah, I just can't remember a time where he didn't say the right thing. I mean, he seems so poised, so prepared, or do the right thing, right. But, I mean, usually we see him on the football field and we hear him talk afterward, and he just has this kind of, not just a charisma, but just a calmness about him that I always thought was pretty unique for a guy who's had that much success so early.
He's got fighter pilot DNA.
I like that.
He's landing the plane on the aircraft carrier in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. No problem.
Yeah.
I got this.
I love it.
No sweat. He's got fighter pilot DNA. That's how I would describe Patrick Mahomes.
Sal,
he's got ice water, man.
I will leave you with this because
I got to tell you, by the way, guys, if you ever get a chance to watch Patrick Mahomes a second warm up pregame, go down to the field, steal or borrow a pregame pass. It's the most entertaining. It's like watching the kid from Golden State dribble and shoot threes pregame. Who am I thinking of?
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry. Excuse me. I got my mind so much off football. I forgot his name. But it's
not
like
D'Angelo Russell.
Steph Curry pregame.
No. Two things, Sal. One, you're with the Chiefs this week. What's the story with the Chiefs? Is it Patrick Mahomes, this new kid on the block? Could it be the youngest quarterback? Or is it them trying to win this for the old veteran Andy Reid?
I'm going to go NFL matchup, X's and O's, schematics on you, Mike Gill. Hate to do it. It's not about either one of those things. It's look at Kyle Shanahan's running game. It's straight out of his old man's playbook. It's Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak to the second tower, 3.0. It's intricate, complex, malleable. It changes shapes depending on the defense. It's super smart, tough, and strong. It's got a quarterback who knows how to set blocking schemes pre-snap depending on what the defense sets. It's got athletes who can block and run. I mean, Kyle Shanahan is one of those really young coaches' sons who's now got chops, and he's also got the benefit of having failed so miserably in the Super Bowl against the Patriots when he was the OC in the Falcons when they were down 28-3.
Yeah, Dan Quinn.
That running game, Michael. That running game is for real, and I wouldn't want to be Steve Spagnuolo today this week for all the money in the world. I really would not.
ESPN Sal Paolantonio on ESPN television. He will be with the Chiefs all week long. Sal, Saturday, I will be with LeBron James. I will make sure this time I record tomorrow night and tell them that you said hello.
Please do.
All right, Sal.
One of our finer moments together, Michael.
That's right, man.
One of our most memorable moments of all time.
Well, enjoy South Beach.
Hey, listen, are you coming down? Is your show going to be
I will
on
be
Radio
there. We will be there, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, see, the thing is, I'd love to join you, but the Chiefs Hotel is Turnberry Island. And I would need a helicopter. I mean, the traffic is going to be brutal by the end of the week.
Yeah.
It's brutal most of the time.
Right. Oh, well, maybe we'll bump into each other down there somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah, but I'm glad I could come on for a special Super Bowl edition of Sal Pal Friday and Mike Gill show a week early.
Yeah,
That's
man.
the way we get it done.
Well, it was kind of you to do this.
Wish Mike happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, it's my birthday today,
wish
Sal.
Mike happy birthday.
We did this for you.
Michael, that's so nice. I get to be on. You took time out on your birthday to have me on the program.
That's right. I wouldn't have it any other way, pal.
Happy birthday. Have a Dunkin' Donuts latte on me.
All right, have a good one, Sal. Sal Paolantonio, everybody. ESPN, of course, national reporter. He, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. That was really good Andy Reid stuff, man.
That was.
I mean, it was like it took us through the gamut of things of like his career and just like how he got to this point, which is, by the way, I counted up. 21 years coaching. He's only missed the playoffs 6 times.
Is that good? Asking for a friend.
That's just, I mean, think about that. 21 years he's the head coach of a football team. He's only missed the playoffs. And one of those years he missed the playoffs was his first year in Philly when they went 5-11.
I'm just realizing I covered. How many times did you say he missed the playoffs?
6
Yeah,
overall.
I covered 5 of them.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, you would have covered 4.
2005.
5.
2007.
7.
8. No,
They
not
made
8.
it
9.
in
9.
They made it in
Oh, that's
9.
right. They did make it in 9. Okay. 10 and 11, right?
They made it in 10.
What am I thinking of? 11 and 12?
They made it. They missed it in 5, 7, 11, and 12.
Oh, so I covered 4 of
And
them.
by
My
the
bad.
way, in the 21 years he's been a head coach, he has only had a losing record 3 times.
Wow.
So he made the playoffs
Right. It's his
15
first year.
times.
Right.
They were 5-11 his first year.
Mm-hmm.
They went 6-10 the year with the TO debacle.
After the Super Bowl, right.
They went 8-8 in 07.
Right.
So there was not a losing record.
Mm-hmm.
They went 8-8 in 11, Dream Team. They went 4-12 his final year in Philly. And that's it.
So I covered 2 of his 3 losing seasons.
Right. They have never had
We see the problem here.
a losing record. Yes, I do.
Until I jumped on the beat.